Hello and welcome to our live broadcast. If you're catching this live, welcome. My name is Diane, and for the past 25 years, I have been helping women find nutritional plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. And in this community here, we are doing that through the practice of intermittent fasting and living a keto-like lifestyle. In today's broadcast, we are going to discuss nutritional research studies and can they be creating a desperation mentality. If you are new, I always welcome you and ask that you please hit that like or subscribe button so that you will be notified when we go live in the future and or upload new content to either Facebook or YouTube. And when you jump on with us either live or on the rebroadcast, I always invite you to please leave a comment so that I know that you are here. If it's live, then we love to have you share with us how it is that you came into this community, and if you are practicing an intermittent fasting and keto-like lifestyle, and if you've been in one of our courses. And if you're jumping on for the rebroadcast, I also welcome you to leave me a comment so that I can interact with you post-broadcast as well. This is a very open discussion that we will be having today, so please make sure that you comment with any feedback or personal experience that you have with what it is that we will be discussing. So nutritional research studies, they come at us fast and furious. And for the most part, I believe that these studies are intended to do good, but we always have to look at them pretty deeply and be willing to pull back some of the layers on some of these studies. And I know, for myself included, I have often used what I have read in studies or some of the trends that are going on to be a way to conveniently make excuses for what it is I may not be willing to do, or to justify some of those areas in my life where I might be feeling a little bit uncomfortable about making change. And I want to also take the time to thank all of you who are so willing to send me links to a lot of these studies and a lot of videos that are going around with opinions and study findings that are going on in the nutritional research arena today. And like I said, nutritional research studies are coming at us fast and furious, and nutritional science is always changing. What I really want to talk about today is how we, as the everyday person, handle some of these research studies that are being done and some of this information that is being, that is inundating us in the media and social media world. So two I want to reference specifically today are pretty recent. One is a study that's been circulating recently and has come across my desk a few times, is the 72-hour fast and how we can utilize the 72-hour fast to reboot our immune system. And the second piece of information that I want to discuss today specifically is the new Jillian Michaels rant that she's going on, and for whatever reason she's doing that, about why it is a ketogenic diet is so absurd and how we should not be doing it. So the first study is based off of an extended fasting period. And if you're here as a continuing member of our community, you know that I am not a huge fan of extended fasting periods. I do believe that you can reap all of the healing benefits of what fasting can do for you and your body and your overall health and well-being in an intermittent type of cycle, meaning you're taking a 24-hour period and you're breaking it up into a fasting window and a feasting window, and you do it on a moderate level, meaning nothing that's going to be too extreme to your system. Extended fasting is really defined as anything that's done over a 24-hour period, hence not intermittent. So 72-hour fasts are pretty extreme, and for the average person, pretty difficult to do. There is a time and a place for extended fasting, and it is usually done in extreme situations or for people who have some really deep healing that they need to do. For the average person to jump into something like a 72-hour fast without knowing how their body is going to respond, or without having any good experience with even intermittent type of fasting and not really knowing what to do in your feasting window, it could be a really hazardous situation. And the post effects of extended fasting can be very damaging and can cause some rebound effects. So I'm always curious as to what those kind of fasting experiences and the studies that back them up really do for us in the 73rd hour or the 89th hour or the 365th hour. What is it that we're doing in those hours post 72 that's going to enhance our immune system and or prolong the benefits of doing something in an extended fast? And I think that's where we become sort of desperate, and it creates this desperation mentality. We don't want to do the hard work over long periods of time. We want to do the extreme work in short periods of time and hope that we reap the long-term benefits. And sadly, it just doesn't work that way. So I always say, consider this when you're looking at these nutritional research studies and they take things to the extreme, or these studies that create sort of a frenzy or a desperation mentality. And I always ask that you pause and think about the information that's being provided to you. And ask yourself, what if I took the basic logic of this study, so a 72-hour fast, and using that to reboot your immune system? And if I took the data and all the research and I dialed it back a little bit and I implemented the practices of this and what we hope the end result to be, and I did it with time and consistency, meaning instead of extended fasting, I created an intermittent fasting environment for my body, and I clean fasted for anywhere from 16 to 20 hours in a day. And when I decided to feast, I made sure I was paying attention to what I was feasting on to make sure my body didn't have any autoimmune responses to it. Again, we're talking about our immune system here. And if I eliminated all of the things in my feast to only things that didn't cause an immune sort of response in my system, could that reboot my immune system over time and allow me to live an authentic life? Because the reality is, extended fasting is a really difficult way to live your life. You're going without anything in your body, if you're doing it correctly, except water and minerals for a 72-hour period. And if you're not, like I said, experienced or well-versed on what to do on the 73rd, 74th, or 75th hour, it can cause a reboot type of reaction or a response in your body that could really diminish all of the efforts that you tried to do and all the sacrifices that you tried to make in that 72 hours. So what if you just did those practices in an intermittent type of way and really listen to the signs and signals that your body's sending you, so you don't do anything that's gonna cause an immune response in your body that's going to be bad and eventually break your immune system down, and you did that over time, consistently. Could you reap the same benefits and have a reboot of your immune system? Well, if you follow this community, I would say yes, you can, because we've seen the results here in this community by doing things moderately and not going the extreme and taking that desperation equation out of what it is that we're doing in our lifestyle. The second big thing that's going around today is the Jillian Michaels discussion about why the ketogenic is so bad for people and how it can be detrimental to your health over time. I also know that there's the big talk about the documentary on Netflix. Michael and I just recently watched it, called The Magic Pill. And you see in The Magic Pill, there's some pretty extreme situations that people are using the ketogenic diet. And so we always go to that extreme of there's no way I could do that, or we look at the one study that shows a negative effect, and we're not peeling back those layers. So let's take both of those situations. The discussion about how the ketogenic is so detrimental to your health over time, and then let's talk about the movie like The Magic Pill that shows extreme cases where extreme ketogenic dieting is really good. And what if we went right down the middle of that road and we did the common sense things, like take away processed foods out of our life, like decreasing the amount of carbohydrates that we've become dependent on, like creating an opportunity for our body through a intermittent fasting type of window for our body to actually process all those extra things that we have been putting in it over time, and letting our body have the opportunity to eat away at all that backup that we have in our system. And then we opened up our feast again. What if we did something that allowed us to live our most authentic life? Because yes, living a ketogenic diet in the extreme fashion And there was a situation in the movie, The Magic Pill, where a woman was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was living a very tightly monitored ketogenic diet where she went down to about 15 grams of carbs per day. For the average person, that is miserable. But in her situation, so is battling cancer. And I would honestly tell you that if I were ever diagnosed with cancer, I would probably go to those extremes. And if you watch that movie, you know that she was able to cure herself of cancer, because we know through these people who are so willing to do these experiments and share their information with us that, and there are some studies out there that show that if you have cancer, it feeds on sugar and it starves in a ketogenic type of environment. So if you're in an extreme situation, yes, going to extreme measures is definitely the appropriate thing to do. But for the average person, you do not have to go to these extremes. And it doesn't matter what these research findings are saying to us. We have to find a happy medium. And we have all been through these cycles of extremism. And we know what happens to us. We create that yo-yo dieting mentality. I'm going to go extreme, get amazing results, and then I can't live up to those expectations for too long, and then we dive down and we go to the easy route or the convenience route, and then we're unhappy with those results, and then we go back to that desperation mode, and we're going to do whatever it takes, and if people are saying that that works and that's what I'm going to do, and you can't live that for that long, and then you go back down again. What we want to have is a steady state of living. We want to create a lifestyle for ourselves that, irregardless of what the studies are showing, we're living our most healthy life. And we want to end this desperation mentality. And if you remember, it wasn't too long ago that there was the research findings about coconut oil and how it was so detrimental to our health because there was saturated fats found in coconut oil. And then when we pulled back the layers on that research finding, we realized that that research was funded by the pharmaceutical industry. And I believe it was a pharmaceutical company that manufactured cholesterol-lowering medication. So of course they don't want us to do something like consume coconut oil, because coconut oil naturally helps us reduce our cholesterol. But we all got into a panic mode and we're ready to throw all of our coconut oil away because of what one research finding was revealing to us. So I think we need to give ourselves the opportunity to think for ourselves and act rationally. Make little changes in your own life and see how that works for you. Anything that we do in desperation and anything that we do to the utmost extreme will not sustain us for a long enough period of time for us to reap the benefits of it. Nor should we have to live our life that limiting. We should be able to really create an authentic life that does allow us to look and feel our best and not have to go to extremes unless we are under extreme situations. Then I say, go for it. Do whatever you got to do to save your life. But on the everyday average person, we have to rely on common sense, and we have to rely on situations that are going to create a lifestyle for us that we feel normal and can live our best life. If you haven't watched The Magic Pill, I strongly suggest that you give that a go. We are going to actually watch it with our kids because we don't want to be the people that have to regulate what our kids are doing. We want them to see for themselves what living a really smart life around nutrition can do for you. And if you create those habits early, then you can go on and live a very happy, healthy life. We know the difference between nutritional common sense and when things aren't common sense. We know the difference between good, solid nutritional plans and when we're cheating ourselves and trying to create excuses for what just is easier and more fun to do. There's also been research studies, by the American Heart Association. I think it was the American Heart Association who funded the study, saying that, a glass of red wine a night is heart healthy. And, for all of us, we were like, yes, we can have our glass of wine a night. And we don't stop to think that, getting on a treadmill for 30 minutes and monitoring your heart rate, that's heart healthy as well. Or taking the stairs instead of the elevator, that's heart healthy as well. Or parking your car at the farthest parking spot at Costco or Target and walking into the store from the distance is also heart healthy, but it's not as fun as drinking a glass of red wine. So we also have to keep our emotions in check, and again, default to common sense when we start to think about what it is these research studies are telling us, and are we becoming desperate? Are we trying to find the quick fix way? Are we trying to find the fun way? Or are we really going to factor in the good, solid common sense that we have the right to exercise, and then put that in place so that we can really have the opportunity to live our most authentic life and not get duped by what it is that a research study is sharing with us when we don't really know what the ulterior motive is. And the part about the magic pill that I absolutely loved was when they were discussing why it is we went to a low-fat, high-carb type of lifestyle in the first place. And that was probably the ultimate dupe as a society that we were given nutritionally, and where it really did put us where we are today. And we are living this sort of desperate lifestyle because we have to undo a lot of what it is that we've been conditioned and trained to believe. And the reason we got so stuck on the processed food kick and the low-fat kick, and even the fats that were being manufactured for us and weren't even the true healthy fats because they were fat-free and considered healthier, was because our food industry and our heart association believed those research studies, and they pumped us with a bunch of misinformation. What I strongly suggest that we start to do is just go back to thinking for ourselves. Think about what makes sense. Don't think about what's fun. Don't think about what's romantic. Don't think about what's easy, but what makes sense in the long haul. And I guarantee you, if you start to make some really easy, subtle changes in your life with time and consistency, you'll be able to live your most authentic life, looking and feeling your best through longevity, and not having to rely on a society that is breaking you down, or a lifestyle that's breaking you down and making you dependent and limiting of lifestyle because you're not putting that common sense in there and you're living that desperate lifestyle. So I strongly encourage you to watch The Magic Pill. It is all the rage. I love documentaries because they show you real time, real life results. And that's what I love about this community here as well, that you are also willing to share your real time, real life results by moderately making changes in your lifestyle that are based on you, how you're feeling, the lifestyle that you're creating for yourself, and it's not backed up by a bunch of propaganda and falses that are going to then lead you down a path of not living your most authentic life. So continue to share your journey, continue to use common sense, continue to do your research, read these research articles, and then pause and think, does this make sense for me? Does it make sense for me today in the lifestyle that I'm living, with the things that I'm trying to fix for myself, with the things that I'm trying to battle, and the things that I'm actually loving about my life? Does it make sense for me to make these changes today? And if it doesn't make sense, then it's not a research paper that was designed for you. In some situations, it will make complete sense. And what I strongly suggest that you do is don't do it out of desperation, and moderately make changes in your life so that you can adjust things as you go and tweak things along the way to make sure that that research paper is going to provide you with the skill set for you, the individual, and not the masses that were or the minimals, even sometimes in some of these research papers. We never know who is being studied and what their background is as well. So consider you first. Don't consider the fact-finding things that were published in a paper. Consider you and what it's going to do for you and how it's going to help you improve your life. And keep out of desperation mode. Anything that's done in desperation, or anything that's done in an extreme, is going to be short-lived, and could cause some long-lasting results that maybe you weren't anticipating. So let me go in here and see who we have as far as Facebook. And thank you guys for joining me on Memorial Day. I totally appreciate you spending your Monday afternoon with us here. Let's see, Janet from Nevada, July 1st course alumni, ready to start the F3 course. We are too. We can't wait. Let's see, Jenny, good to have you here. Steaming hot. Where are you at? Michigan. Yeah, it's hot here too. Paula from the May class, welcome. Tanya, Barb, good to have you here. Susan, new person to the group and interested in IF from Georgia. Awesome. Susan, we'll make sure you get on our email list so you can get some information about our beginner course, which really does take you through a very slow process of incorporating intermittent fasting, so that you can start to see the changes that can be made by just using common sense practices that are best for you and your life. And that really is the best way to start incorporating these lifestyle changes. Valerie, I just did an obesity course with the National Healthcare Service and gained a stone weight. They made me eat 6 times a day and low fat was the goal. I was also offered a gastric bypass that I have declined. Valerie, congratulations to you for declining that for sure. And yes, that way of eating is just not good for us. We know that now. And if you haven't taken our course, I would strongly suggest you jump into our June 9th course. I think that we can help you really subtly make some changes for yourself that will really help you reverse some of those things that you were just put through, and can help you really get on the path of managing your life in a very healthy way. So definitely make sure that you reach out for our email list for sure. Jillian, tuning in from Alberta, January IF class and February refresher. Awesome. June 3rd F3. Awesome. Jillian, I feel best fasting between 16 and 20 hours every day. I did a 39-hour fast once, but I did not feel great, and it really upset my stomach. Yeah, and at the end, I'll share with you guys what I've done with some extended fasting as well. Yvonne, yay, girlfriend, you're here. It must be because it's a holiday. I've missed you, so it's glad to have you back. Eleni, been a while. Good to have you here with us as well. Jillian, I'm not extreme in my IF lifestyle. I find I am successful by feasting 18 to 20 hours a day and then feasting as well as I can in my feasting window. I have been IFing for almost 5 full months. Recently, I have family and friends commenting how great I look. And honestly, a lot of that change is since I relaxed a bit about what I eat during my feasting window. I still eat healthy, but have broadened my choices incredibly. I love what you said today. It's about living authentically and creatively without extremes. Yes, for sure. For sure. You know, when we do things to an extreme and we have such a tight guideline in which we're fasting and feasting on, then we develop also that failure and success mentality. And if you're not doing it perfectly, then you're failing. And what I really, really like to emphasize here is that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And how are you picking yourself up one day after the next? And if a day doesn't go perfectly, like that's okay. You have a new day and a new opportunity to make the tweaks that you need so you feel more successful. But it's definitely not anything that we have to do to the perfect. And there's no rule of thumb that every one person has to follow. It really is about what it is that's going to make you have the most authentic life for you. So congratulations for realizing that. Janet, it has to be sustainable, something we can do with the rest of our lives. Been doing the yo-yo thing for long enough. Yeah, and we just know now that it doesn't work. So Liz from Australia, welcome. Jillian, is that on Netflix, The Magic Pill? Yes, it is. It's a great, great documentary. You guys will have a lot of aha moments in that, especially if you've taken our course. You'll just shake your head going, duh, we know this stuff. Why are we not practicing it? And you know, the media world and the social media world is very, very influential, and we always have to stay on our guard, right? We always have to make sure we default to common sense and what is best for us as individuals, because a lot of the way they present this information to us is intended to dupe us. It is intended to create an emotional, upset for us, so that we think we need to do this, and we need to stand fast and pause and think about how it does apply to us as the individual. And most of the time what we'll find out is that it doesn't really apply to us as the individual, and so therefore we can just go, that was great information. And a lot of these studies I kind of put in my hip pocket, and like I said, if I were to ever be diagnosed with cancer, I would go to extremes for sure. But on an everyday basis, I'm healthy today, so I don't have to do those things that would be extreme, as long as I practice the time and consistency of common sense when it comes to nutrition. And that is the biggest message that I want to get across to you guys. Rita, it's been a while. July graduate, 2017, alumni course, ready for phase 2 class. So excited. Because of this class, I was able to control the environment around me while I was in California for a wedding. Congrats. In-laws kept trying to feed me their the extras, I think it is. I explained to them I eat once a day and clean. They finally got it. Awesome. Plenty of Topo Chico was in my reach. Good for you. I was up 1 pound. I believe it was from the water. Thanks for all you do for this amazing group of women. You are my hero, and I like having you in my head. Oh, thanks, Rita. You know, remember that 1 pound thing is so, it's whatever it is. It could be from travel or stress or, you know, whatever. That's why I really don't weigh myself at all anymore. And I even noticed this week, we had a really emotional week at our house, and it was all good emotion. I mean, the kids are doing so fantastic in school, and we have so many great things going on that we feel so blessed to have, but it was stress nonetheless. And I did kind of feel like emotionally I was a little out of balance, and I felt really tired, and my body wasn't feeling its best. But I just kept saying to myself in my head, yes, you have some stress going on, and it's good, and just stay the course. And today I woke up and I feel absolutely amazing, and I didn't do anything different except just rest and keep on my fast and do my workouts and make sure I drink plenty of water, and magically I woke up this morning feeling fantastic. I didn't have to do anything extreme. I just let my body go through its cycle. So always just let your body go through its cycle, and don't jump too far off track to try to make some corrections, because your body will balance itself back out, and then you won't have anything that you need to worry about. The magic pill was awesome. Watched it twice, and we'll watch it again. So much good information. Yeah, we're gonna watch it tonight with our kids again. We love it. Alicia, day 12 fast on my personal introduction to intermittent fasting. Learning so much from you. Looking forward to the June course. Thanks for sharing your experience and expertise. Oh, Alicia, I'm excited for you. I can't wait for you to jump in our June course. Lynn, I love when common sense prevails. It's so simple. No need to overthink anything. Yeah, just do nothing. Do nothing for the majority of your day, and let your body do what it's intended to do, and that's take care of itself. Let's see. Lucy, welcome. Olivia, welcome. Nice to have you here. Yvonne, yes, school is closed today. I'm doing the level 2 course on June. Yeah, June 2nd for sure. Paula, so true. After a month of IF, I'm happy and excited to continue, not feeling deprived like the other plans. I am so aware of others' attitude around me. Good for you, girlfriend. Success and failure. My husband trying to help him understand my new relaxed attitude. I know, isn't that funny when you have to explain to people why you're so chill about everything? But yeah, it's the better way to live. That's for sure. Energized sense of calm. Roseanne, new to intermittent fasting and glad I found you. Oh, glad you found us too. This is a great community. So nice to have you here. Janet, May IF graduate tuning in. Awesome benefits for me. Thank you for positive mentorship. Diane, can't wait for the F3 course to start. We're excited to have it start too. Brandy Miller, Robin from Winchester, Virginia, an upcoming June course. Thank you for the base culture bread and brownie recommendations. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's the best stuff. Christine, I am intuitive eating now instead of fasting, but I always love all your discussions. Awesome. Yeah, intuitive eating is a great way to go too. Like, not everyone is supposed to be fasting either. So it's you know, there are studies also and research backed proof about cancer and fasting, and even minimal 12-hour fasting consistently, which basically means we cut snacks out after we eat dinner, and we don't eat till a little bit later in the morning, like we're not jumping out of bed and eating, is enough to reduce our risk of breast cancer. So again, we don't have to go to extremes. We have to just use common sense and just let our body have an opportunity to rest, and not have to utilize so much energy breaking down food and storing it away, right? We don't want it stored away. We want it to be utilized. And so that's where we really have to figure out where our body chemistry is, and then find the nice balance so that we can benefit from whatever amount of time that we're going to decide to fast. Carla, so glad to hear you today on Memorial Day. The magic pill was an eye-opener. Thank you from the January course. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Carla. Yeah, and I love those kind of documentaries that really you can see someone's progression going through what it is that they went through in that documentary, and the dementia and Alzheimer's information is really what fires me up, because I did go through a bout of losing my mind and not being able to remember my kids' names. And you guys have heard me tell the stories about where I park at the grocery store or a Target because I would panic and not know where my car was. And I'm regaining all of that strength back in my brain. And so I'm hoping that I can offset a lot of those genetic things that I have in my family, which are, I think it's where we all end up if we're not taking care of ourselves. So it's not even so much that we can just relate it to genetics, that we have to really look at our environment and what are the lifestyle practices that we have in place. And you don't want to be the first person in your family with dementia or Alzheimer's. You don't. And even what we're doing to our young kids and grandkids' brains. And I looked over at Michael when we were watching The Magic Pill when they were working with that girl who has autism, and I thought, oh my gosh, look at what it did for her brain and how amazing her brain is recovering. What could it do for a healthy brain? What can it do for a kid who's not suffering autism or is not suffering any kind of brain cognitive loss yet, like I had gone through? What can we do for our kids coming up with healthy brains if we don't damage them? And what potential could they have for their life if we just get out of the way and go back to using common sense practices and take the time in our life to make real food and stop opening up packages and stop microwaving quick fix things and really get back to just the basics of what we're supposed to be eating, and that is just real food made at home. And so I know that kind of kicked it in for Michael and I as well. You know, Logan's going to be going off to college, and he believes all the stuff, so we're convinced that he's going to be okay in college and make good choices for himself. But you know, even Gabby at 11 and 12, we're really going to make some good changes at home for her as well and help her little brain develop well as she's going through some of the hormonal changes she's about to embark on. And we don't want to be responsible for doing any damage. We want to make sure that the choices that she grows up making for herself and what we provide in our environment at home will sustain a healthy brain for her as well, even at a very young age, so she can have those practices as she is getting older as well. And then hopefully everything that Michael and I are doing, she doesn't have to know what it's like to have dementia in the family like we did with, you know, our grandmothers and mothers and stuff. Lori Ann, hello there. I can't find the link to the level 2 sign up for that VIP group. I know it was emailed to me. I just don't know what happened to it. We're going to be emailing you guys again, Lori. Don't worry about it. We'll get you. Sherry, so glad I found you, Diane. 3 weeks into IF and it just suits me. I feel like me for the first time, and I'm really in a really long time. Sherry, congratulations. Yeah, so funny, right? Like the one thing that I think I hear most from women who start kicking in intermittent fasting and really watching what they're doing in their feasting window is the fact that they feel like themselves again, which makes me really go back to that thought of we're kind of being drugged, right? And we talk about sugar being a drug. It's addictive, and it really does do a lot of hardcore damage to our bodies. And it takes us out of feeling like ourselves, which is basically what happens when we put drugs in our body, whatever those may be. And so going back to just being clean and letting your body run on its own resources really can be a way for you to get you back. And that's one of the testimonials I think that I really take to heart and really cherish is when I hear a woman say she feels like herself again. And that's the way we're supposed to be feeling, and that's the way we're supposed to be aging, like ourselves and not like something else. So yeah, it's totally worth it. It can be a little bit difficult in the first couple of days, but once you get through that, it's totally a blessing to be able to live this way and to have everything back that we want to have back for ourselves. Okay, awesome. So for those of you looking for the F3 course, you have to be a graduate of our Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, because I need you to have a baseline comfort level with fasting and feasting within an intermittent window of 24 hours. And I need you to understand what signs and signals your body's sending you when you're not feasting correctly for your own body chemistry. For those of you who are joining us for the F3 course, I'm super excited to have you. I am going to be sending out some information over the next couple of days with how we're going to roll out the course. And we're pretty excited about the fact that we're going to take you through a really nice session of sticking with us for enough amount of time through the beta course to really help you see some results. And the beta course members are going to be the ones that are really going to help us design a course that's going to be beneficial to all. So it's not just going to be Michael and I barking out information. We really want to get a lot of feedback from our F3 students and design a course that will stand the test of time and really help you guys get to the next level by incorporating fitness into your fasting and feasting so that you can have the trifecta of what it is that we want to have with health and wellness. So keep an eye out if you're a graduate for the information that we'll be sending out to you about the F3 course. We're really excited about what we're going to be doing with you guys and the relationship that we're going to be able to have by spending a good amount of quality time working on developing a really, really balanced fasting, feasting, and fitness lifestyle that you can really create for yourself to stand the test of time. So we're super excited about that as well. So thank you so much for joining me on this Memorial Day. I appreciate you guys being here. I love that a lot of you who haven't been here for a while were able to jump on, so I always appreciate that as well. Take the rest of the day to enjoy yourselves and think about all those members of our military service who have sacrifice themselves to make sure that we can live this kind of lifestyle where we have the freedom to choose the way we want to live. And I hope that the decisions that you guys are making in your life will really lead you on a path of looking and feeling your best and living your most authentic life. I always appreciate you guys being here. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday. Make sure you watch The Magic Pill and make sure that when you're reading those nutritional research studies that you do it in a way that you stay conscious about what it is that you want to have in your life. Do not jump into the desperation mentality. Don't jump off course with what it is that you're doing in your life just based on a research study that has not included you and your lifestyle into their findings. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on Wednesday.